This is BgreatBME here. Welcome back to another video. Here I am. I'm gonna talk about letting it all out, letting it out, part two. This is not a continuation of part one, because this involves a whole different issue that I witnessed. Um, and pretty much, it's gonna be me addressing, something that happened in my personal life, and then what happened, in the YouTube space. I'm gonna put a link of what I wrote down below, but basically, I'll ask this question: what do I do when a relationship meets a crossroad? That is what's been on my mind. So I'm just gonna go ahead and try to be quick about it. It's late at night. I need to go to sleep. Uh, I'm gonna go ahead and do this real quick and just get it all out. Some may be offended. I may lose friendship on this one, but I'm just gonna call it what I see it, say it is what it is, and just keep it moving, keep on following Christ, keep on living and do what's right to him. So this is what I got going on. And I got a report pulled up on my end. Just looking at it. Basically, what I'm pretty much gonna be addressing, I want to address the brotherly relationship situation that I went through on my personal wall recently. And then my thoughts regarding my uh relationship, my stance with Mr. Dan Brown regarding the issue between him and Saiko. Um, that's something I want to address and be open about. I honestly rather, you know, not pretend that I didn't see what happened. Um, I rather not pretend to see what happened. Instead, I want to take a stance, biblically speaking, and speak from the heart and just be open and vulnerable. And I could be right on what I'm about to say, or I could be wrong about or what I'm about to say. But for right now, I'm just speaking on calling it what I see or what I saw. I'll start with my personal life side of things. This actually happened um at the week of Thanksgiving, and then as of recently, everything's cool now. But I'll explain what happened. And not gonna be on full details for the sake of privacy. Sake. So let's see here. So basically, of course, it involves with a fellow brother who I love dearly, and he pretty much was in a situation where it started out good, then it turned out bad, and then it got good, and then all of a sudden it got bad again, and it's all happened before Thanksgiving. Um, then the our other fellow brothers in Christ was talking to him about it regarding the situation. They shared their concerns about his situation. He wasn't trying to hear it. This other fellow brother, let's just say fellow brother number two, he came to me, told me that I needed to go talk to him. And I was planning on meeting up with fellow brother number one, is the one who was in the situation. Fellow brother number one, I was gonna meet up with him on the next day, which is Sunday after service, church service. And Sunday came, church service ended. And of course, unfortunately, things kind of like came up to where I had to handle something. But I also told him that I was willing to make time to at least go talk to him about it. But he pretty much, and things pretty much got canceled. I pretty much put much as details as I could on the paperwork, but things got canceled and all this stuff. So my idea at the time, because we had been talking regarding the situation, I thought, let me leave him a voice message. Yeah, I don't want to. have a blindsided on thinking that I stand on this side, but was saying on this way, when reality now at the time I'm standing on a different stance. So I sent him a voice message, and of course I couldn't really give him the concerns that I have because at the time he wasn't really trying to hear and all that stuff. But I ended up telling him that I love him and all that stuff. Ever since I sent that voice message, I haven't heard from him since. And it's been about a month since I last heard from him until I got to talk with him again. And how I got to talk to him again is because um I've been asked a couple of times, have I heard from this brother number one? And I told him no. I told him no, I haven't heard from him. And I'm just keeping him in prayer. That's all I can do. So my mom and fellow brother number two pretty much, let me know and they say, hey, how about you send a message out and just send out a check-in message and all that stuff. So I did send like a quick message like after service, and immediately after that he called me and we called and talked. Things got cleared up. Some things got cleared up. He told me that when I sent that voice message to him, he thought I was mad at him. And of course, I was cryptic about it, which I was. I, which I was. But I told him that I was not mad. I was not mad at him. I was like, "Why you think I was mad?" I was like, "Why you think I was mad at you?" And I also said that, to be honest, I actually think I was like, I actually thought you was mad at me, is what I told him. And he admitted that he was mad at me. And even to the point where he pretty much at least deleted the text message conversation that we have together. He was that upset with me about it at the time. I would say, I mean, like I said, everything's cool now. We at least talking. But of course, I had to honestly maneuver a little bit differently, handle things differently, and all that because, in a sense, it's like he he didn't really take the concern well and all that stuff. Um, it is something I had to figure out. So as we continue on, of course, I want to be there for him. Be a friend that's there for him wherever he needs it. So of course, I want to be able to, you know, tell him, be straight up. I want to be the real genuine brother for him, and that's pretty much it regarding that one. I will say that learning what I'm learning now as I continue to learn and grow in Christ. The time I probably shouldn't have sent that voice message at that point in time because he was feeling the type of way at the time, and I didn't think about that factor. So that was like a lesson learned for me. Uh, so short, quick, sweet regarding that situation. So let me go. I'm gonna quickly go over uh, Mr. Dan Brown now. So I have held my thoughts for a while regarding to this situation here. Wasn't really sure if it's something I'd be open about or something I just keep it to myself and keep it moving. But part of me felt part of me part of the reason for me to come out and talk about this and be open about it is because I don't want to pretend like I didn't see what I saw or how things happen and all that stuff. Um, especially if the issue hadn't been really dealt with. So this is why I'm pretty much gonna talk about it. So I'm just gonna looking at the paperwork to see what points I'm talking about. So yeah, I will say that. I did not keep the receipts. I know some people may I know some people may shake their heads at me for that. The reason why I didn't do it, because at the point of time when Dan was making videos, community posts, about something related to the situation, I knew he was feeling some type of way. I knew that he was still with the fence, and I wanted, as I gave this brother a benefit of the doubt, thinking that he will calm down and pretty much once he calms down, he'll try to make things right. I pretty much had that type of, at least that type of hope for him. Um, and plus, I didn't really give my additional thoughts at the time because when I made that community post, you know, um, and he continued doing videos and all that stuff, it was really no reason for me to add more thoughts to it. It's like my point still stands on that. But I didn't keep the receipt because I gave him benefit of the doubt, I gave him some grace, thinking that he was gonna calm down, which he did in a sense, and but in terms of making things right, that's questionable. Um, but yeah, but I didn't keep the receipt for those reasons. That's why. So I'll just go over it when I got my paperwork. So let's see. Like I said I chose not to keep the receipts at the time because I knew he was posting stuff out of being offended. Out of hope for him, they calm down and make things right. And and I said, even though he calmed down, the feeling of disappointment, and the feeling of my disappointment in him came up. Um, no lie, it came up. I had to, I had to, was researching how to deal with it, honestly. And the best practice is, pray to the Lord about it and pray for Dan. That's what it really came down to. And that helped me feel better about it and everything and stuff like that. So and I still I pray for well wishes for Dan. I love him. It just what what happened, my relationship my relationship with him had pretty much been affected by it. Um uh, had been affected by it. Now what what he has done, from my knowledge, he hasn't done or say anything directly to me that could affect our relationship, but it was the way he displayed his attitude and how he carried out his angry disagreement at the time was the factor where I decided I'm like I can't really tolerate this type of stuff. That's really where I'm at. I can't really tolerate this type of stuff in my walk with Christ. So, um, and of course, at the time that I made that community post addressing Saiko and Dan's situation, it was, uh, I apologize for the interruption. I had to check on something real quick, but anyway, so what was I? So it was the reason behind my community post that I made at the time. The reason why I did that was because, hold on, oh, it seemed jump. I was clicking on stuff, but the reason why I made that post at the time, well, no, actually, the time that I made that post was after the fact that Dan made a video, or he made a song called "Nah, I'm Good," and it was after the fact that I had listened to it. Um, After the official Fallout came through on YouTube, the Fallout pretty much became official when Seiko pretty much brought it up in his live stream. prior to Dan decided to do that video or do that song. So yeah. So when I listened to that song, of course I had ponder about it and everything, and which led me to make a community post and just left it there. That's all. That's pretty much what I did. Afterwards, though, he pretty much made a couple more songs, doubling down on his solo ad. He had shared certain songs, especially he had shared certain secular songs on there, especially the one which was titled "Don't Give a F" by DMX, and he had made certain more posts at the time afterwards. And I know that he had decided to delete the post, but even though he deleted, most of the posts, I don't think that the issue has been dealt with, which is also why that I pretty much made a decision to go a different direction. It was like in a sense like, you know, Lord, I love this brother, but I can't really walk with him at this point because that type of behavior is something I don't want to tolerate in my life. And I just want, I mean, I stand on the fact that if there's like issues, disagreements, or anything, I'm a firm believer that we're gonna have to have conversations. We're gonna have to talk. Only at least to come to a better understanding of each other. We at least gotta talk. And the fact that that happened, but instead this happened is something I couldn't tolerate something like that. But I'll go over that as I go further down. So of course, I still pray well, which is for 'em. So I'm going over to my thoughts section right here. So I do want to address the center points of my community post that I did. And you can either look at the paperwork or you can go back to my community post and read over it. So the first point I want to address is the one that I made on when I say Saiko is defending the fellow brethren that's in TPUSA faith, and Dan is against TPUSA organization and signed with Candace Owens claims. Correct. So, eh, so I put out, and the reason I'm focusing on this point because I put right here on the paperwork saying on Dan's deleted post, he made it clear that he wasn't on Candace's side, but he has concerns about TPUSA organization itself due to the money handling, uh, which which he pretty much pointed out in one of his community posts that he's deleted. And I pretty much said this, even though he took the time to address something, it was done. And this is calling what I'm seeing, bro. It was done it was done while he was offended at the time. And I honestly wish he could have done it through having a conversation. But he willingly chose not to participate. He, I mean, he actually chose not to participate. And instead of not participating, having conversation, he went on and did what he did with community posts, making songs and all that stuff. That's something I don't want to tolerate. Uh, these next few points from my community post, I pretty much put it together because it goes back to what I said on the second report that I did. When I said I believe my second report that now I recall that if we ever have any type of disagreements, I pray we do truly come together and figure it out. Then I put a bullet point on it there, which I put the whole statement on there, but I'm gonna focus on the one that I bolted up. I said, uh, and I want to say that if we have any issues among each other, and God forbid that it happens, I pray that I first remember the good that is done and trust that we can come together, whether in private or public, whatever case is necessary, and we can have a peaceful conversation and reconcile. The one thing I must learn myself that is that even though I could see peaceful conversation, it doesn't always come without difficulty. But thank God we have His Word to teach us how to handle issues together. And the point of what I'm talking about, the what is it, the good things, the good that is done, the love, the fellowship, bonding moments, funny moments, all that stuff. Um, I feel like in a sense, it should play into the factor when we head into this conversation instead of immediately antagonizing someone because we have disagreement with them or we just feel some type of way about a person. That's where my mind is at on that. But then I'll go, and then another point of the community post, I'm still continuing on because I want to drive home the thoughts on this. I said, so uh, I pretty much was talking about based on the second half of the live stream that I watched from Saiko, Dan is unwilling to have a conversation, which is fine. He chose to do that. And I said, but putting time and energy on expressing how you feel in an AI song that posting it hours after the live stream is something. I honestly have to say that ain't it. Which I couldn't have told him directly, but from my observation, I don't think he's trying to hear right now. And I will respectfully give him space. Another point I say, the reason I believe that this ain't it because I believe a simple heart-to-heart conversation could break down walls, even tricks that the enemy is putting in that can cause our relationship to break. From what I understand, they had him and Seiko, and Dan and Seiko had conversation off stream on certain topics, and I hope they can keep it going once things cool down. Um, and I also said we went through a lot of trials together when it comes to allegations, name calling, and such. And we have come too far to even give up or choose not to talk things out, whether publicly or privately, wherever is required, due to the disagreement of opinions or a dislike to a certain individual for whatever reason, and jump to conclusions unless the facts are presented about someone's character without investigating or asking questions directly. And the third point I said if we choose to go the route of being petty or sending sub shots, then we are being hypocritical because we called out the mob for the same type of stuff they be doing when they refuse to have a conversation. So, and then, so I want to address those points here. I said, my stance on this has not changed. I truly believe having a conversation can break walls down. Unfortunately, through what I witnessed in some of Dan's deleted posts, this is my thoughts. It seems to me that whatever type of bitterness and offense that Dan had against JP, it has boiled over to where he decided to cut off the time that was invested in the relationship, the love, and the good things we all have together to go solo and call it the fakes and the snakes and this AI songs. Um, Instead of having a conversation, Dan decided to make multiple diss tracks. All but one is deleted to the multiple diss tracks towards Saiko, which all but except one is deleted, and probably had a few others in mind due to the statements in the songs being general statements. In other words, if the shoe fits. He made a post, which was deleted, announcing that there is no reconciliation. There is no talking it out. And he ended off as he said, "Nah, I'm good." He made a he made an apology post, which was deleted, towards Corey about the whole PO deal, which I honestly thought we cleared things up after that one live stream that happened. And he made claims that there'll be goalposts moving and stuff. When it comes to having conversation with Seiko, he basically did say something like that. Um, I haven't forgot that. Another point I said through some of the secular songs that he shared in the midst of himself being offended, which was deleted. The one I was only shocked was his don't give a F stance. That that's what I was shocked about. I was like, wow. I think it was on a Sunday when he shared that. It was crazy, right? Lastly, he made a post which is deleted that through the counsel of others, he took down some of his posts and stated that if he offended anyone or created a stumbling block, he apologized. I did see that. This is where at that point he had calmed down. Then after all that, I said this is what I wondered. Did Dan really feel the way he felt this entire time upon fellowshipping with Seiko and many of us and decide to reveal it once the disagreement and the whole JP issue came up? Or did he start acting like this because he got offended? That's what I'm wondering. I was disappointed that Dan down on the diss tracks instead of having a conversation. I was hurt about it. I honestly was hurt about it, to be quite honest. But I gotta keep it pushing. But like I said, I was just one that then double down on the diss tracks instead of have a conversation, which I thought we all agreed that the way the mob handled their issue with Sego was trash. The way they handled Seiko was trash. Now I could be wrong on that, but I thought we tried to be better. I thought we did. I knew I knew Dan was it. I knew Dan wasn't good. The moment he kept making posts and diss tracks and in his statements with "Nah, I'm good." But I chose not to add more thoughts to it because I believe my thoughts on the community post still stand to this day. And I was willing to give grace and hope that Dan sees what he's doing was wild. I, he kept saying on end of the certain post, which was deleted, he kept saying, "No, I'm good." In the back of my mind, I was like, "No, you're not good, bro. If you was good, you wouldn't have done the post the way you did and stuff like that." But who am I? How can I really tell him that when he was feeling some type of way and all that stuff? Instead of just leave him be, just leave him alone. That's that's all I could do at that point in time. Um, his apology post statements in regard only about the PO stuff. I believe it's parole officer. But the PO stuff and his statement about Seiko was a head scratcher to me because I did thought that we was in agreement that it was maybe possible that it wasn't Corey's PO, but we couldn't take Corey's word for it at the time because of him choosing to not have conversations. Excuse me. We couldn't take Corey's word for it at the time because he chose not to have conversations to clear things up. He kept throwing accusations at fellow brothers and sisters, and he did a flip flopping on the statements for months. Um, that's why I couldn't really take Corey's word for it. Um, and plus, the big problem is just we wondering is he taking action, the right, he's taking steps to pay the people back. That's really what's the main problem. Now, yeah, I did say this that I don't mind if anyone needs to make something right. I do not mind that at all. But what was questionable to me about Dan's post, with making an apology to Corey about the PO deal, and then of course, uh, making statements about Seiko's goalpost moving and all that stuff. What was mainly questionable to me was the timing of it because Colin has to see it. Dan was in his feelings at the time. Uh, Dan Dan was in his feeling at the time during the fallout, and out of nowhere, he decided to make that post. So I wonder this: Did he really feel that? Did he really felt that way this whole time, ever since that live stream that Corey managed to hop on and chose to say it publicly once he started having a disagreement, or was he really genuine about it? That's I wonder about that. And then when he had shared the some of the secular songs in regards to how he was feeling, which was on a Sunday, how I was feeling. Honestly, I believe there was no way for me, like I said, there was really no way for me to approach or talk with him peacefully about it because a brother offended is harder to be won. And even though he made a post saying he took some of the even though he made a community post, which is deleted by the way, again, he took some of the posts down because of the counsel that he received. I don't believe it properly settled the differences and the issues that are still lingering because even though he did deleted some of the posts right there, I still believe that Dan still stands on his statements till this day. All right, I'm back. Hopefully this will be the last last cut. Um, but yeah, covering the post his um his apology post and he the like I say he made an apology post, deleted some of the posts and all that stuff, but because of the counsel he received. And even though he did that, I don't believe it properly settled the differences and the issues that are still lingering because I believe Dan still stands on the statement to this day, um, despite deleting it. And he had kept some of the diss tracks up until he deleted most of it afterwards. Well, all but one. So and I said I chose to not let his posts and his diss tracks offend me because I wasn't directly called out, and I chose to be assured on where I stand in my faith in Jesus Christ. For I must prove myself every day that my faith is in Jesus. So I completely doubt that I was in Dan's mind when he made the videos and the posts that had general statements there, unless I could be potentially wrong about my doubts. As for now, I don't think Dan has wronged me in his statements, but his decision to depart from others, decide to go solo, his behavior afterwards, his decision making of his posts and videos, and his statements about a fellow brother while he was offended is something that I cannot tolerate in my walk with Christ. So that's where I stand right there. I'm glad that he calmed down, but I don't think I'll be able to trust him the same. I don't think I'll be able to love him the same. I don't know if I'll be able to talk to him the same. Because what if I do have a disagreement about something he said? Is he gonna take it the wrong way or whatever the case may be? Now, I mean, we all flaw. I could be flawed on how I handle things. But if, well, one thing I try to be careful and show my concerns or show my disagreement is try to be respectful, try to be peaceful about it, try to let my speech be with grace, seasoned with salt. But if anyone takes it a certain type of way, how can we grow? How can we grow in our relationship? That's where my mind's at right now. Uh, the question in life I wonder is how can I be vulnerable, transparent, and honest to a friend or a loved one if it's going to get someone offended, especially when you love them or have their best interests at heart? That's where my mind is right now regarding Mr. Dan. My love for him is still there. I pray that him and his family are well. For the sake of my walk with Christ and peace, I believe I must walk the other way and keep moving. It was a tough decision to make because I love this brother. He was one of the ones that he's one of the ones that had my back. And I truly am grateful for that. We even talked about exercise stuff because I thought the way he carried himself in his exercises were cool. Something to admire, especially in this grown age. And spiritually speaking, I want to embrace his brother with a hug because his love, boldness, and respect I have for him. I mean, that's just the honest truth. I don't know what else to add to it, but all it says, Lord, if I'm handling this the wrong way, please show me. Uh, I want to be the kind of person I can be in Christ. And when I told Dad that, he encouraged me to be that. I really appreciate him for that. This is why this decision is tough because again, I love this brother, but I can't walk with him, man. I can't do it. I can't tolerate something like that, man. Oh, I would rather be secure biblically on where I stand on the issues than to pretend that all the stuff that I witnessed didn't happen. Until things are made right and fixed up, this is what I believe is best. That's what I believe is best. So that's where I'm at with my thoughts. All I can say is, may God be glorified forever and ever. Amen. Y'all have a blessed day and a blessed night.